Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad new Fangled motion picture show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the Newfangled Motion Picture Show. I'm Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we're going to be reviewing a movie with a dog bounty hunter. Not like Dog the Bounty Hunter, and not like a bounty hunter that hunts dogs, but a bounty hunter that hunts with robot dogs. Of course, talking about Alita, Battle Angel.
Yeah, unfortunately...
Not to be confused with Battle Angel Alita.
No. Yeah, we knew we were a little late on this one.
We were busy last week.
Life finds a way to get in the way of our movie watching sometimes.
So we went on a Thursday night to the movie theater, which is a great night to go, because there's no one there.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a really big movie release going on. There's not anyone there. And this week, there's not any really big movie releases.
Right.
I think the biggest one from this week is
I think How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. We already reviewed that though.
Yeah. But anyway, so Alita Battle Angel. Sorry, real quick. We're going to be doing our normal thing where we do a spoiler-free review and then give you a spoiler warning and get more in-depth into it after that.
Yeah.
So, Alita Battle Angel. Directed by Robert Rodriguez because James Cameron apparently determined that he's going to be spending the rest of his mortal life making Avatar movies.
Yeah. Apparently so.
And so...
Better get cracking on that.
Handed the project over to Robert Rodriguez, who, frankly, I can't think of a better director to be doing anime adaptations into a movie. Because Robert Rodriguez is like king. Okay, there's one other director who I think could pull it off well. That's Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah,
because they're like the kings of weird genre movies.
Yeah, but I think it's like Robert Rodriguez did Sin City, so
right. But anything that is an anime adapted into a live action movie is going to seem like a weird movie. It just is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think he did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, I saw the anime once, and it was over 20 years ago. As I recall, this is pretty faithful. I've never read the manga, so I can't judge on that, but from what I remember of having seen the movie once over 20 years ago, pretty close in a lot of ways, in a lot of the important ways.
Yeah, like the big eyes.
Yeah, well,
but only on one character.
Only Alita has that. Well, I mean, there's some like flashbacks to like other cyborgs of her like same model that also have big eyes, so I mean, they were like, I think they were trying to like really push how like not human she is or how alien she is. Things I got used to it. Like at first, I thought it was gonna be weird.
It was jarring in the trailers when they first came out,
right? And then like the first time you're expecting it though, when you sit through the movie, and it's still a little weird at first. But I got used to it. I began to not even notice it.
Yeah, I did too. There were a couple scenes where like I was like, oh, they didn't really like the CG on her face wasn't as polished in this scene as the rest of the movie.
Yeah, for the most part,
it looked really. I mean,
it looked good.
Basically, every shot in the movie is an effect shot.
Yeah, so you're when you have that many, it's gonna happen once in a while.
As long as it doesn't happen, as long as what was that last Transformers movie? The one with the Knights of the Round Table.
Oh,
that had some really bad CG in it. Like really, a lot of really bad CG in it.
Yeah,
The Last Night.
I think people stopped caring in that. But
yeah,
anyway, in this, the CG is like really good throughout. There's some
really cool action sequences.
Yeah, the
fight choreography is really cool.
And then, like I said, you get used to her eyes, and you begin to not even really notice.
Yeah, there are a couple of really jarring and unsettling shots in this movie,
but like intentionally so. It's not because like the CG was so weird. You're like, oh, No, there was stuff that was like intentionally unsettling with like a lot of the cyborgs.
Yeah.
And some really cool
Like
effects
that
that
part
they did with
that
him.
part where they're, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's this part where this cyborg character's head and like robot spine are pulled up out of his body while he's getting repaired, and he's still like talking and carrying on a conversation while this is going on. It's just really unsettling.
Yeah, there's this one female cyborg that you've probably seen in the trailer. She's got like these knives and stuff. She's pretty unsettling to look at too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, she does that thing that's like from a horror movie where she's like up in the corner, like up on in the corner where two walls meet, and her head is like turned the wrong way, and she's just like It's the kind of thing that makes you just go in the middle of a movie theater.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure I did that.
But so the visual effects are pretty good in this, and I thought they did a really good job of like building this like the city where it takes place, like it's not like just your generic like. I mean, they could have easily just made it like very generic looking, but it has like a very lived in look to it. Like this is an old city, and there are like people have been living here for generations, and it's very detailed and everything. So it's really the set dressing's really well done. Yeah, they could have really skimped on that, and they didn't. And I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
Yeah, I the more I think about it, the more I like the movie. Can we just for a second appreciate Mahershala Ali being in another movie?
Yeah, I mean he's been popping up all over the place lately. I'm not complaining at all. He's a great actor.
He needs to be in everything.
But it was like this slow build up, and suddenly he's just like in a bunch of stuff.
I think it really kicked off when he played Cottonmouth, right?
Yeah, I think
Luke Cage.
Yeah, I think his appearance in Luke Cage might have.
Press F to pay respects to all the Marvel shows on Netflix. By the way, they're all gone now. The last of them have been canceled. But anyway, so yeah, it is. You don't have to be a fan of anime to enjoy this movie. I think if you like genre action movies, which I mean, who doesn't enjoy a good genre action movie, right?
Right.
It's just a fun movie. Like I said, really, really cool fight choreography. Because when everyone in the fight is like super powered and super speed because they're all cyborg bodies and stuff, you can get away with some really cool shit. It's like in Real Steel. Like, why would you ever watch any other boxing movie other than Real Steel? I mean, come on.
Well, we did give good reviews though to.
Yeah, but that wasn't about the boxing. That was about the character.
To Creed.
But anyway, so yeah, it's
and then Rocky IV, where he destroys communism.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, it's just I mean, all the acting's great in this movie, but it's got Christoph Waltz, Jennifer Connelly, Mahershala Ali, like, it's got a few heavy hitters there. Then a bunch of
people that are regulars in Robert Rodriguez movies.
Like they're
not any of them bad.
They're probably people that just live like down the street from his studio in Austin.
I was expecting at some point to get like one of the bounty hunters to be Danny Trejo.
Yeah, they really
but he never showed up in the movie.
Really missed out, man. I was
expecting Danny Trejo to be in there.
Yeah, he wasn't in there. Michelle Rodriguez was in this, right?
Yeah, she's uncredited.
It's a pretty bit part.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to. I mean, it's potentially spoilers if we explain what she was, so we'll save that to the spoiler part. But yeah, she has a really bit part in there, and I don't want to say who the other really bit uncredited part was because it's like right at the end of the movie.
Yeah, and we're both like, what?
Yeah, we're like, what? I didn't know he was in this.
Yeah. So anyway, I enjoy it, and I think this movie, I really want this movie to do well, not just because it deserves it, but it's the chance to show like that anime adaptations in the right hands
can be good. Which, I mean, the Wachowski, they were still brothers at the time.
Yeah.
Did a really great job adapting Speed Racer into a movie.
Speed Racer was great, and I mean, I might get some flack for this, but I liked Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah. We're both... And before anyone says anything, we're both huge Ghost in the Shell fans. That's a whole nother diatribe, though. I mean, we
did a video on Ghost in the Shell, so...
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Dude, I don't know. I lost track of
We're on like 80-something.
Yeah, I've lost
videos,
track of what
so
all
I'm pretty sure we did a Ghost in the Shell, so if you're curious about our opinions on that, you can go watch that.
It all blends together here.
Yeah,
I'll look it up. I'm sitting
pretty sure,
at a keyboard.
I'm pretty sure we did do a Ghost in the Shell. So anyway,
and then
but also this movie is set up for sequels because if you're at all familiar with the manga or anything, that you can't tell that whole story in a 2-hour movie. This movie's like 2 hours and 2 minutes or something. It's just over.
Doesn't look like we did a review of Ghost in the Shell.
Really? So
yeah, I'm searching on our channel for the words ghost and the word shell, and nothing showed up. I'm pretty sure we didn't. I think that was too long ago. Yeah, I'm not finding anything. Maybe we should do a special edition of New Fangled Motion Picture Show where we defend Ghost in the Shell.
Okay. Thought we did.
No.
Alright.
I was wearing a Laughing Man hoodie today. Anyway, so yeah, this movie, if we want to have good anime adaptations of, like, movie adaptations of anime, this movie needs to do well. It made, I think, like, I saw it made $35 million domestically opening weekend, which isn't terrible, but
it had a budget of $200 million though.
Yeah.
And then there's marketing to take into consideration too. So you almost probably have to about double it. So it needs to make over $400 million.
I don't know what it's gonna make. I mean, it when you account for worldwide revenue, it'll make more money. But I don't know if that's enough, because if that were enough, we'd have another Warcraft movie by now.
Yeah.
Because that movie made so much money in China. And here we are, 3 years after the fact, and no word on a sequel?
Right, and I want another Warcraft movie too. I liked that movie well enough that I want another one.
Yeah.
It wasn't
also, Warcraft 2 is
great,
a better story than Warcraft 1 anyway.
And yeah, but
Anyway, back to Alita.
Back to Alita. It's good. I enjoyed it. It needs to do well.
Recommend it.
I do recommend it.
Because, like, movie adaptations of anime are gonna happen. And if you want studios to realize that, hey, maybe these should be put in the hands of people like Robert Rodriguez, who can pull this kind of thing off,
yeah,
go see this movie. Make it do well. Because otherwise, you're gonna end up with, like,
Death Note.
Yeah, Death Note. Or that Dragon Ball movie.
Oh yeah. See, the problem with them is when the Japanese adapt them, they don't have the budget to do them justice. And then when there's
a reason they were cartoons to begin with. These
right.
Stories.
And when the Americans adapt them, they don't give them the proper budget, or they don't give them the care.
They don't give them to the right people.
Yeah, they don't give them to the right people. They don't give them the care and love that they need. And this is clearly a movie that came from two people that really respect the source material.
Yeah.
They went to a lot of lengths to really recreate this.
There's a lot of shots in the movie that are in the anime.
Yeah.
Like, but obviously redone with these actors.
Right.
So it's like it's clearly two people who really enjoy the source material, really like the source material. And if you want, like, they're going to make a Cowboy Bebop movie. It's gonna happen. And if this movie does poorly, it's just gonna get handed off to some puppet of a studio and basically be directed by studio execs.
Right.
So, like, this, I do believe there is a place there is a market for Hollywood adaptations of anime. They just need to be done by the right people. And if people protest or decide not to see movies because they have a preconceived notion that it's going to be bad, then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. I think a part of the problem this might run into is it does kind of look weird.
It is weird.
It is weird, but it's a good weird, and I think it was sort of the sort of thing though with like Blade Runner 2049, why it failed. There wasn't enough, as much as like there are people out there that like sing the praises of Blade Runner. There wasn't enough built-in fan base to make 2049 successful.
So it was dependent on people who were not part of the existing fan base to go see it.
Which they didn't do.
Yeah, because it looked weird.
Yeah, well also, I mean, it being a sequel, if you're not a fan of the first one, what are the chances of you going to go see a sequel? Especially
that, like, that movie boiled down to, did you like the first one? You'll love this movie. Did you not like the first one? Don't see it.
Right.
That's really what that boiled down to.
So I mean, and then, so, with Alita, I think most people who are anime fans will go see it, but that's not a big enough population.
Despite what they might think.
Yeah, that's not a big enough population. So we need to get people who aren't necessarily anime fans or just movie goers in general to go see this movie. I mean, there's a pretty big campaign. I see a lot of ads going on right now, and they're all the like, Alita Battle Angel is, you know, best number one movie in America right now, or
yeah, it's getting,
critics say go see, you know, those
it's
trailers.
Getting pretty good reviews, not just from us. Like it's getting pretty good reviews.
It's definitely worth it. And I think so. It being dumped in February, it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, there's nothing to really compete against.
Yep.
But on the other hand, that's not the movie-going time.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that's less of an issue than it used to be.
Right.
I think like people are just kind of at the point where is there a movie they want to see, they'll go to the movie theater and see it.
Yeah, I think
I mean, there's so many movies being released now. You can't have like a movie season. Yeah, there's definitely seasons that are more packed, like the last 2 months of the year.
Yeah.
But
I think it could have helped if they had done like they did with the Lego Movie 2 and How to Train Your Dragon, where they put it out early because they had that much confidence in it, right? That was showing we have confidence in this movie. We're putting this out early.
Yep.
If they had like thrown this out early and people were looking like, well, I guess they're pretty confident in it. Let's go. Well, it might be worth seeing.
And not just that, people coming out of it going, "This was a good movie."
Yeah.
Yeah, and but yeah, there's just so many genre movies coming out now.
It's a huge.
Disney's releasing 12 movies this year. Remember that?
It's a big percentage of movies nowadays. It used to not be so much, but now it's a big thing. And so I think it might have an advantage in that there's not really much to compete against right now.
I think that does more for it than against it. Its release date.
So anyway, I think we can move on to the spoiler portion.
Yep. So spoilers henceforth.
Yeah.
So McTeague is like the coolest character in this whole movie.
He's hardly in it.
He's a cowboy with like the desperado bushy mustache that like walrus mustache that hangs down, you know?
And then like a pack of robot dogs
that he hunts bounties
cyborg
with.
Dogs. Yeah, and
he looks like a character from a MOBA or something, man. It's so cool.
Well, it's funny like because there's this bar that is the bar where all the bounty hunters hang out,
called Kansas.
And so Alita goes into the bar to recruit these bounty hunters to take out this other like cyborg.
Gruishka.
And she gives this big old rousing speech, and it's kind of cheesy, and everyone's like laughs at her. No one wants to join her, and she challenges them, like, if I can beat you in a fight, then you get to join me. And so she like beats the crap out of everyone in the bar except for McTeague.
He's the only one not doing anything.
He just sits there and watches,
and he's holding his little dog. This little dog that Alita finds out on the street early in the movie.
I think the reason he joins her is because the dog defended her.
And Gruishka killed the dog.
Yeah, Gruishka killed the dog, but the dog defended her. Like, it got between her and Gruishka, and it's this tiny little dog. It's like 7 pounds,
slightly
maybe
bigger than our dog.
It's like maybe like
7
pounds.
Yeah, about 7. Maybe a little lighter. Looked a little hungry.
It's adorable.
It's super adorable.
And it gets between her and Gruishka kills it. And so it became a little bit of a John Wick moment there where she like fights Gruishka. But McTeague joins in now, and then after they beat him, he's like, not a dog lover.
I hate that. Yeah.
But he's only in this like one sequence, and you never see him again.
Like the most cyborg cowboy looking dude you could ever imagine.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Like if whatever image you've conjured in your head of cyborg cowboy, it's probably pretty close to what this guy looks like.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
And that dog's blood is the blood she paints on her face.
Yeah, so like from the trailer and the posters and stuff, where she's got like the blood under her eyes that she paints on like war paint. Yeah, that's the dog's blood.
Which she does sort of instinctually. And it's like in flashbacks, they show that all of her fellow cyborg soldiers all had that like war paint on their faces when fighting.
Yeah,
with their Panzerkunst fighting style.
Yeah,
just armored art is what that literal translation. Which I guess kind of makes sense. It's like it's a martial arts for cyborgs,
right?
So that makes sense.
Yeah, and that
apparently the Germans are the ones who colonized Mars.
Yeah, one of those there in the background of the movie, like 300 years prior, there was a war between Earth and Mars.
That was longer ago. Wasn't it 600?
I think they said 300. Pretty sure they said 300.
Anyway.
Alita was one of the Martian cyborg soldiers. And then she was like abandoned on Earth there afterwards, after they lost the war. But
there's some really cool flashback sequences to like, so they formed these floating cities above like all the major cities in the world, and there's this part where this like 20-foot wide cable that's used to send supplies from the ground up is severed and is falling down on top of like, it looks like it's maybe like Chicago or something.
Maybe I'd assumed it was the same.
I don't
city.
I don't think
because that city is built over Kansas City,
right?
Missouri.
Yeah, and there's no. I mean, it could be the case, but there's no telling that like what happened to her after that sequence.
Yeah,
it just that the city was falling on. I thought it looked like Chicago, but I could be wrong.
Anyway,
but yeah, this is just like really cool shot of that cable just like falling down and crushing these buildings and stuff. It's just really well done shot.
Michelle Rodriguez is one of the other cyborg soldiers that she's in there.
She's
briefly.
like an instructor.
Yeah, and so she's uncredited. She's hanging out in there. Casper Van Dien.
Yeah, Casper Van Dien's in it.
He's like this other cyborg. He's barely in the movie. It's like a blink and you miss him.
And there's another uncredited character.
Well, Casper Van Dien's credited.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. So the other uncredited character is Edward Norton.
Yeah. He's the ultimate bad guy.
Nova,
yeah. Ultimately, he's the bad guy. And you can't tell. So he's in like 2 shots in the movie, like one at the very end, but one like before there was a hologram of him in a flashback when the Martians were coming to invade Earth.
And he's got this like weird mohawk mullet thing going on,
and like these goggles on, so you can't really see his face.
And Edward Norton's most recognizable facial features are his squinty ass eyes.
Right. So I'm looking at him like, oh, he's kind of familiar. Who is that? And then at the very end, he takes the goggles off, and it's like, oh, it's Edward Norton.
Yeah.
But the movie does end in a cliffhanger there.
The reformed skinhead.
Yeah. So to be more, the movie ends in a cliffhanger. And they have they want to make 2 more movies.
Yeah.
We'll see. We hope.
You said this covered the first 4 out of the 9 volumes.
Yeah. So what I was reading is there's 9 volumes of the original manga. There's a subsequent sequel manga, and then there's one that's a prequel that's about the war.
Yeah.
But then as far as the initial there's 9. I think there's 9 volumes, and this covers the first 4. And so the other 2 movies would cover the rest.
Yeah.
And as I recall, that's the way the anime was too. The anime basically covers the same stretch that this movie does.
I'll have to take your word for it. I haven't seen it.
Like I said, I saw it once and it was over 20 years ago.
I didn't. I'd be interested to seek it out and see how it compares. But yeah, I mean, just go see this movie. The rollerball, or whatever that's for.
I think they called it motorball.
Motorball, which is just rollerball without teams.
Yeah,
and cyborgs, so they can do more crazy shit.
Yeah, but have you ever seen the movie Rollerball?
Well,
they remade that, didn't they?
They did. Did we see it?
I don't think I saw the remake.
I saw the original.
I saw the original James Caan. I don't think I ever saw the remake.
I saw the original. I remember we rented the original when the trailers came out for the remake. Because Mom and Dad were like, "Oh, I remember that movie."
Yeah.
And they were like, "We should rent that and show it." And we watched it. And all I really remember is that it was it was played on a roller derby track.
Yeah, it's basically
and a dude was killed by being punched in the back of the head with a spiked glove.
Well, if you could imagine just a more violent version of roller derby, but I think the ball also explodes at some point. I'm trying to remember rollerball. But yeah, this game is essentially rollerball, but with
more high speed. It's like rollerball if they played it on a track from Speed Racer.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
So, anime.
Right. It's just the most violent, super version of roller derby.
Yep.
That you've ever seen. Mixed gender, though. I don't think... Are there male roller derby players? I've never seen a male roller derby.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway.
But yeah, they're skating around on these... they have wheels on their feet.
They're motorized skates, too. But, and some of the cyborgs that are part of that, or they show them in their motorball rigs, where they're in these giant crazy cyborg get-ups, and it's just really neat looking.
Yeah, but Casper Van Dien is one of those cyborgs. Yeah. It is in a blink and you miss some situation, but he's one of them.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Go see this movie.
Definitely.
Alright, so our next movie, I think, is Fighting With My Family, which came out this week, so we'll probably see it in the next day or two. Right? Or no, that came out last week, didn't it?
I think it came out this week.
Yeah, it came out this week. Okay. Yeah, so we'll see that in the next day or two, probably, and review that. Then next month... there's a new Medea movie.
Oh boy.
Captain Marvel looks like the next movie for us, huh? Wonder Park looks bad. 5 Feet Apart looks bad. That's that movie that we're I keep waiting for Nicholas Sparks' name to pop up here.
Oh yeah, is that the two that have that disease or something? They're some autoimmune disease or something?
Yeah. Man Marches. Whew. Not a lot going on. Dumbo at the end of the month. Which we'll definitely see, right?
Yeah. It's Tim Burton and it's Disney. It actually looks pretty decent.
Made like Tim Burton calls Danny DeVito's agent. Danny DeVito's agent walks in and goes, "Mr. DeVito, Tim Burton on the phone for you." He goes, "All right," and he just turns around and pulls his top hat out from behind his desk. It's like the third Tim Burton movie he's worn a top hat in.
What's the second one?
Was it like Real Big Fish?
Oh, he was in Big Fish.
Or not Real Big Fish. That's
No.
that's a
Big Fish
ska
though.
band.
Big Fish.
Big Fish. Yeah. Yeah, he was in Big Fish, and he was like a ringmaster or something in that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, so that it looks like 2 movies next month. Oh boy.
All right.
Man, I hate slow movie months, man. There's so much shit all year long. Can't they just like spread it out? Stop putting like multiple movies we want to see on the same month.
The worst is when you have multiple in the same week and you're just like.
That's
trying
what
to
I
fit it
meant.
all in.
That's what I meant. I want a movie every week, personally.
Yeah.
And then April is Shazam and Hellboy.
Definitely more excited about Shazam than Hellboy.
I'm worried about that Hellboy movie, man, because we were promised a dark, gritty Hellboy.
That's not what the trailer looks
And
like.
the trailer does not look like that at all. Oh yeah, and then Avengers Endgame is at the end of April. That is the most looked forward to movie of that month, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we got coming up. If any of that sounds interesting to you,
Let us know if you want us to review Ghost in the Shell.
we might do it anyway.
Because I thought we had
might
done
do,
it.
We
but I
might
guess
do a
we
video
didn't.
essay that's in defense of Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, we could do that. I thought we had done it, but I guess maybe I just assumed we did because we've been doing this for a while, and I just assumed. But
The movie's like 2.5 years old, I think.
yeah, I said I know
We've
that
only
our
been doing this
first. I
for
know
what?
that our first one was Alien Covenant.
We've been only doing this for like, what, 1.5 years? Something like that, I think. Anyway, so yeah, we'll if any of those upcoming movies sound interesting to you, subscribe. Hit the alert button, maybe, so you get notified when a new one comes out. I don't think anyone actually does that. Like every YouTuber says, hit that alert button. It really helps me out, guys.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone ever actually does that.
Yeah, who knows how it works anymore? It's a big secret.
It's always been a big secret. And then
Yeah.
go check out our other reviews. We reviewed, this is 80 what? You said?
84?
84. Man. I want to count it out when we're done with this and find out what our 100th
84.
movie is going to be.
Go watch our Starship Troopers Trader of Mars review. We're one of like 2 on YouTube. The other one is a negative review, and ours is a positive review.
Speaking of Casper Van Dien.
Yeah, speaking of Casper Van Dien, ours is the one positive review, and there's one other review, and that's the negative review.
That might be the new Fangled motion picture show with the most amount of views.
Yeah, because there was no other options.
It's Trader of Mars of all the movies. But yeah, so
This is just a passion project for us, Niall, because we get like 1 or 2 views each one.
yeah. Sometimes we get up as many as like 10.
Usually the lesser movies, the ones that like people aren't reviewing so much.
Yeah.
Like our Bloodfest review.
Yeah, Bloodfest got an okay amount, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Our reviews of Shazam and Avengers are just gonna get buried in the sea of 10,000 other videos about those movies, so. But we'll do them anyway.
But we're gonna compare Shazam to Captain Marvel because we're gonna have dueling Captain Marvels.
In a way.
In a way. I'm just curious if they're ever gonna actually call him Captain Marvel. Probably not.
Well, at most I could see like, oh, we need to come up with a superhero name for you. What about Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
And he's gonna like shoot that down. Like that's the most acknowledgement.
Yeah, you can't. You're not
going
gonna be. Yeah, because they're not gonna really be able to get away with that with a Captain Marvel movie.
Because I think not
Marvel.
enough. I think not enough people would get it anyway.
Right. They're not gonna know that that's the character.
Especially with a Captain Marvel movie.
Shazam is the wizard. The hero is Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So
especially with the Captain Marvel movie coming out a month before it.
right. So anyway, I think we've rambled enough. So
I never stop rambling.
I know we got to cut you off at some point.
Oh.
Yep. So until next time, bye.
Thanks for listening.
So long.
Toodles.